I am Caloy Atayde, and I'm here to tell you of a healing mountain and what we intend to do to help people looking for a non-medical solution to their physical and mental health issues. By the way, Mount Banahaw is also known as a mystic, holy, and miracle mountain. Let me start by telling you a story of my healing in Mount Banahaw. 10 years back, I started to experience back pains. I thought this was just a pulled muscle. So I had myself massaged once a week for some time. But the pain lingered, so I went to a doctor who told me to do physical therapy. I was also given some pain relievers and told to do some physical exercises at home. This made it worse. Then I was asked to walk back and forth in the pool. It helped, but not that much. Then I was advised to go to a chiropractor. My experience there was unforgettable. I entered the clinic walking and came out in a wheelchair in pain. I could not even drive myself home. I had to get a taxi. For 3 days, I was on strong painkillers that made me sick. I had to sleep in the den downstairs because I was not allowed to go upstairs. And even if I was allowed to do so, I could not do it. After that incident, I went to our family doctor who told me to take an MRI, which I did. The results showed that I had muscle spasm that had no cure. I could not accept that. So I tried other medical remedies, such as acupuncture, aculaser. It helped a bit, but not much. In time, my back pain worsened. I could not lie down or turn around in bed without experiencing stabbing pains. I could not sit up from bed without experiencing excruciating pain. I could not pick up anything from the floor. To stand up from the chair, I had to go very slowly to minimize the shooting pain. I could not go up and down the stairs of my house as often as I used to. I only go down in the morning and go up in the evening after dinner to retire. In the shopping malls, I had to stop and sit after walking around 100 meters. I could no longer drive without experiencing pain. And if I tried to drive, I would experience excruciating pain after. I did not have much appetite, and I lost a lot of weight, and I felt so weak. My posture was even affected. I would stoop because of the pain. Last year, the pain became so intense. So I visited again our family doctor, who told me to take another MRI. The result was the same, muscle spasms, that it was degenerative. In short, it was going to get worse. I was advised to take painkillers if the hurt was unbearable. At that point, I could not work. I could not serve as a motivational speaker. I could not do my advocacy work without having to take painkillers. This made me so sad. I felt useless. I felt like a burden to my immediate family who had to do the simplest things for me. I was desperately looking for a solution. One day, while I was walking in the driveway in the compound where I live, I met my neighbor, Flora de la Cruz, a school teacher. I noticed that she wasn't feeling well, so I asked her how she was. She replied saying that for 1 month already, she has been experiencing pains all over her body and was unable to move at all. She said the pains and paralysis started at 1 a.m. and would last until 6 a.m. Her husband had to carry her whenever she needed to go to the bathroom. Flora also sadly informed me that because of this, she has not been able to work for a month now. Like me, she tried different medical remedies. Feeling desperate, she decided to follow her cousin's advice to see a faith healer in the province. The following day, after her visit to the faith healer, I approached her and asked her if the faith healer helped her. She was all smiles and she said, "I'm cured. My pain disappeared." I said, "What? Really? What did the faith healer do?" I asked. She said the faith healer uses a healing process called tawas that made use of melted candles to determine the cause of the pain. The faith healer also massaged her while praying. And then I asked Flora, "And how much did you have to pay for the healing?" And she said, "Nothing. If you wish to give a donation, you may." I was intrigued, to say the least. Desperately looking for a cure for my back pains, I asked Flora if she would accompany me to this healer, and she agreed. A few days after, Flora's husband, Roland de la Cruz, Shoni Sevilla, the administrator of our compound, my wife Carmita, and I traveled to the province of Batangas. I asked Roland to drive my car because I was still in pain, and knowing that it was going to be difficult for me to drive for 2 hours. At the start of the journey, I noticed Roland was driving at less than 40 kilometers per hour on the skyway when there were very few cars traveling on it because it was still early. I also saw that Roland was squinting his eyes. So I concluded that he was having problems with his eyesight. So I decided to take over the wheel, even if I was in pain. The healer's house was a bit difficult to find. It's in a hilly place, in the deep interior portion of a town, accessible through narrow roads, wide enough for only one car. I was the first to be treated that day. What was amazing was she was able to tell me exactly where the pain was emanating from, simply by looking at melted candle drops in a bowl of water. She also said that my pain was caused by physical injury many years ago, which was exactly what the doctor said. She then massaged my whole body, putting more attention in the areas that hurt. She knew exactly where it was. I didn't have to show it to her. After the massage, I felt so good. And guess what? Surprise, surprise! I was able to drive back home, which took 3.5 hours because of the traffic, without any stopping pains. When I got back home, I was still feeling pain when I stood up from the chair, when I picked up things from the floor, and other physical movements. But I was so happy that I was able to drive for 3.5 hours without feeling stabbing pains. And so, what happened to my wife and my 2 companions? Well, my wife went through the same procedure, and the candles showed that she had no serious physical ailments. As far as my 2 companions were concerned, they were also amazed at her ability to know their ailments. Roland was told that he was having problems with too much gases in his stomach and difficulty in urinating. Roland, after a few days, told me that after the healing session, the pain caused by gases decreased and that he was able to urinate better. Shoni, on the other hand, who was diagnosed by doctors as having scoliosis, was having back pains when she moved from one position to the other in bed. That night, after the session, she said she hardly felt pain when she moved in bed. While waiting for my companions who were being treated, I observed that there were more than 60 people waiting to be healed. They were simple and privileged folks. I spoke to some of them, and I got to know of the many healing miracles that they experienced in the past. When I asked her if I could take a picture of her and do a video interview, she politely denied my request. She mentioned that she also refused to be interviewed by well-known TV personalities in the past. According to her, God does not want her to do that. She also said that she does not want her name or her picture appearing in any sort of promotions, which includes this video. So for this documentary, we will call her the Healer. The Healer then advised me and my companions to return as we needed more sessions to heal our ailments. I was so pleased at the results of my first healing session that I invited two of my good friends, Roland and Lucy Rosario, to join me in the next session. They too were desperately looking for a non-medical solution to their ailment. Roland was very weak because he was going through dialysis, which adversely affected his bowel movement. Lucy, his wife, had sciatica, which caused pain from her hip down to her legs, which made walking a struggle. In this session, Roland and Lucy were the first to be serviced. Like my companions who joined me in the first healing session, they too were astonished at her ability to diagnose their ailments. When Roland and Lucy got back home, Roland was able to move his bowels without much discomfort. According to Lucy, the output must have been equivalent of so many days. So much so that the toilet got clogged and had to be pumped. Prior to the healing session, Roland could move his bowels only after taking laxative, and the output was very minimal. Lucy, on the other hand, who had pain from her hip down to her leg, noticed a marked reduction in the pain. As far as I was concerned, I did not feel any physical improvement. However, while I was being massaged, I learned that she would go to Mount Banahaw to rest, revitalize, and bring her patients strong enough to go to and bathe in the waters of Santa Lucia Falls. According to her, Santa Lucia Falls is one of the healing sites in Mount Banahaw. It is the first place pilgrims are asked by their healers to visit. In the third session, we were again with Roland and Lucy. None of us felt any improvement in our condition after the session. In this session though, when I was being massaged, she talked about the healing power of Mount Banahaw and invited us to go there for a healing session. We were so intrigued by what she said that we decided to schedule a trip to Mount Banahaw. The only information that we got from the healer was that we had to go down 270 step stairs to bathe in the healing falls of Santa Lucia, and then go up the same stairs. Prior to that, we needed to register in the cave of St. Peter. She also told us to bring some candles. The thought of going down 270 steps and go back up seemed to me like an impossible task, given my condition. But I was so determined to get healed that I was willing to do the climb, even if I had to stop 20 to 30 times to rest and take the whole day if needed. What happened to me and Carmita in Mount Banahaw was no less than a miracle. If this story I just presented resonated with you, I invite you to watch part 2 of this documentary entitled Mount Banahaw, the Healing Mount, which is posted on YouTube and on our Facebook page. This video will tell you what we went through to get healed. It will show our plan to build the Banahaw Mountain Healing Center, which can be visited by the sick and the weak, who are desperately looking for a solution to their physical and mental health issues. To completely heal. Have a wonderful day.